Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, June 11, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, jumped to respond today to government's second counterproposal on salary increase. Utility unions express joint support for BNTU. Placentia Village Council organizes protests to save Placentia Point Beach. And Hugo Pat claims UDP interim leadership and calls for boycott of NPC meeting. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Earn B-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited-time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards. You'll actually want extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because it's Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
Whether the job is big or small, every super handy dad needs the right tools. And at Brothers Habet and Habet, we have what you need. Enjoy super savings all June like 15% off all power tools and hand tools, 25% off track car batteries, Eureka Vats, and Pisaforte towels, 25% off Penta Decon and discontinued colors, 30% off Valspar, and 40% off Dutch Boy paints. Plus, we're giving away $200 to 6 lucky super handy dads. Every $50 you spend gets you a chance to win. So this year, give Dad his best gift yet from Brothers Habet and Habet. Come in or reach out today. Happy Father's Day to all super handy dads.
In 2024, the Belizean diaspora took over Los Angeles with the first ever Belize Diaspora Summit, and you know the only thing that could be ever better than that is to do it again. Belize Diaspora Summit 2.0. This time it takes place in the state of Florida, Fort Lauderdale Port Convention Center, July 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Belizeans from the diaspora, Belizeans from home in Belize, join together. Let's do it again. 3 days, government services, clinics, business displays, kitty corner, pop-up trivias, panel discussions. There will be highlights for business mixers. There will be live performance. Vasindio, Destiny Wagner is going to be there. There's going to be a live performance of Makobi. And you will have Immigration and Civil Rights Town Hall, special guest Kenneth Gibson, interview and book reading. There will be a wind-up reception, rhythms and rum. It's happening, Police Dashboard 2.0, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Power Convention Center. Don't miss it.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. The Joint Unions Negotiating Team, JUNT, was set to respond today to the government's second counter-proposal regarding their request for an 8.5% salary increase for public sector workers. According to Dean Flowers, the president of the Public Service Union, their letter calls on the government to come back to the negotiating table to discuss the conditions that they set to award the salary increase in phases. However, BNTU President Nadia Martin Kaliz maintains that their membership has rejected the offer. As we have reported, APSSM President Sharon Fraser contends that in their previous negotiations with the government team, conditions were never tied to the salary increase because the pension talks had started long before that request was made. Martin Kaliz has also made a clarification in relation to the government's point that the unions agreed to forego the increment that was frozen under the Barrow administration. She shared that the letter in that regard states the increment would have been reinstated on retirement. However, if the economy improves, they can renegotiate this. Hence, she says, the membership is calling for that increment to be awarded now, not at retirement. On a separate note, Fraser has also condemned the publication of political ads maligning Dean Flowers. The union leader today stated, quote, "We have now come for ours," end quote, as he set aside the personal attacks while highlighting that in the last administration, the government has accommodated the private sector. He says he remains focused on the goal. This evening at 6:30, the Stan Creek branch of the BNTU will hold a, quote, "Victory Through Unity motorcade, starting at the Drums of Our Fathers Monument. Martin Kaliz has warned that they are not precluding from taking action at the start of the school year. Meanwhile, the three utility unions representing communications, energy, and water services workers have now weighed in to express their support for the Belize National Teachers Union, which they say has been pushed to resort to public demonstrations in pursuit of long overdue justice. They highlight rising inflation and a broader systematic disparity in the treatment of workers. The unions write, quote, "This state of affairs contradicts the promises made to the Belizean electorate during successive political campaigns and undermines the principle of equity in governance. As unions representing workers who provide critical and essential service to the nation, we recognize and affirm the pivotal role that teachers play in the development of our society. We maintain that teachers must be adequately and fairly compensated for their labor, and we acknowledge that any reasonable improvement in their remuneration constitutes a sound public investment, end quote. They call for resumption of negotiations in good faith and say they will continue to monitor progress. The Placentia Village Council, PVC, held a protest this afternoon to save the Placentia Point Beach, a plot of land that is only 3.387 acres in size. However, though they say the council and villagers have used the property for decades, including for Lobster Fest, it was sold over to Jonesboro Limited in 2019, with the land certificate issued in 2022. Village Council Chairman Warren Garbett and Councillor Bryce Dial today shared that they need to land to source much needed revenue for their operations, and he notes that there is no other property that can be used for this purpose.
2018 is when the Lobster Fest was moved down to the point. Before that, like I mentioned, all the other activities, playing of volleyball, recreational use, local residents fishing, it was used for that purpose before. But it was really abandoned before we left, before we got out there.
And this was really the only piece of land left that was big enough to host these size of events. And, you know, over the years, the Lobster Fest has grown. So it went from having maybe 20 vendors to now we're up to like over 80 vendors. And that is where the Village Council gets a lot of the revenue, is from the rental of the booths and the bar space. So if we lose this land, or we stand to lose this land, we don't have anywhere to host our events. And like Warren said, you know, besides for liquor license fees, Lobster Fest is our biggest revenue earner, and running the village isn't, you know, it doesn't take small change. Like when we're being plagued with sargassum, it costs us about $1,000 a day to have guys out on the beach cleaning the sargassum and having the beach rake out there. So that's just one of the many expenses, and this is a season where the sargassum is horrible. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures and videos from across the country, and then that doesn't count, you know, paying the staff, and then we've also taken on responsibility of the sanitation department. So there's a lot of expense that goes into running the village, and if we're having the land taken away from us, it's not as if we're begging the government for money. We're asking them for a tool that is used to run the village. If we don't have that land, we have nowhere to host our function.
The council says it has been in discussions with government officials from as far back as 2013 to get the property in their name, but that never worked out. Most recently, they say that in 2023, they made headway with the current administration, committing to compulsory acquire the land. First notice for this purpose was published in the Gazette, but the council says they have had no update since. In the meantime, they have been getting letters from the owner telling them they cannot use the property anymore.
First publication was made in the Gazette that triggered that process for reacquisition. For that process to be complete, I think a second publication was needed to be made. However, that hasn't been made because I believe the other party, reached out to government and they started negotiating. So that is why. This happened in 2023. Now we're in 2025, so it dragged on for quite a while. And I believe what we're hearing is, because we've had several meetings, and what we're hearing is that the owners, the people on the other side are asking for some exorbitant, ridiculous amount of money for just the narrow strip. I think, if I'm not mistaken, what I'm hearing is more than what they paid for the entire 1.8 acres, 4 or 5 million. This is not a fact. This is what I've heard. But that is what seems to be prohibitive, and the reason why the government is not willing to buy it back. We started receiving these letters in 2023. We got the cease and desist order. Both letters, and the letters came just before the event, similar to the most recent one that we got. The first one was saying that yes, we don't have, we can't use the property. and that if we do, we will face legal challenges. And then the second one came, I think, just before the Arts Festival. And then another one came. We were planning a little event in the area, the Christmas Night Market. So we received a third letter. We've ignored them and carried on because we know that we had a license to use the property during that time. And then after that, of course, we reached out to government, and government gave us the assurance that they would reacquire. So we're still on there, and that is exactly what we're telling the property owners. This land is still in negotiation, and they are not allowed to build anything on that little portion until we get a final resolution to the issue.
Here is what the Minister of Tourism, Anthony Mahler, and Minister Kareem Musa had said back in 2023 when apparently there was no talk about a $4.5 million value for the land.
We will continue to support events like this. We also are going to continue to support the Passencia Peninsula all the way up past Himay. And so just recently we installed those buoys, as water buoys. We worked on the pier. We're finishing off the polyclinic. That should be finished by December. And I have committed half of the resources with the Ministry of Natural Resources to buy back the property for the village of Passencia. You heard it from two sitting ministers of government. The pint belongs to the people. And our government has committed to make that happen.
I'm recording it.
This is truly a well-organized, well-planned, beautiful event in front of the beautiful Caribbean Sea.
It is likely the matter will end in court. Tracy Panton and co. are flexing ahead of the National Party Council MPC meeting called for Sunday, June 14 by Acting Chairman Alberto August. In a press release today, Hugo Pat, calling himself the interim leader of the United Democratic Party, asked the membership to boycott the meeting. He explains that in his capacity, he sent a letter to August on June 10th, directing that the meeting be postponed so he could participate in the comprehensive review of the delegates list prior to the NPC meeting. Pat says August has refused, and as such, the meeting will be held against his wishes and clear direction. He also calls on the membership to engage their UDP constituency organizations to support his position. Pat announces that a legitimate meeting will be held at the earliest opportunity. Apparently, August had initially agreed they would all meet with the party's legal advisor, Aldo Salazar, to review and determine the official delegates list, but August responded that, according to the Constitution, NPC meetings are to be held every 3 months, and despite his attempts to contact Pat to move the process forward, nothing happened. Moses Shine Barrow is not taking it all sitting down. He got Pitts and Associates to write Pat a letter affirming that he, Barrow, remains party leader until the next national convention. In the case of Pat, the letter says he remains first deputy leader of the party. The letter adds that Barrow's March 17 resignation letter was never accepted by any party official, and that furthermore, there wasn't the required acceptance by the NPC. After the break, Port of Belize gets new board. Stay with us.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Desde pequeñas mejoras en casa hasta trabajos industriales, Sherwin-Williams tiene la pintura perfecta para cada proyecto. Confiada por los profesionales y diseñada para ofrecer belleza y durabilidad, nuestras pinturas y recubrimientos garantizan un trabajo impecable. Disponible en Design Depot y a través de nuestros distribuidores autorizados en Orange Rock y Corozal, Sherwin-Williams, su marca de confianza en pintura.
Design Depot. Todo en un solo lugar.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I help you out right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Port of Belize Limited has appointed a new board of directors that takes over from the transition board. PBL describes this as the next phase in the government-owned company's governance and oversight structure, quote, ensuring the continued advancement of strategic, operational, and financial priorities in alignment with national interests, end quote. Former BEL CEO Lin Young now replaces Gilbert Canton Sr. as the chairman of the board. Young is joined by directors attorney Priscilla Banner from Courtney Coy, LLP, Ray Guerrero, Ian Courtney, Elena Smith, as a labor representative, Kevin Castillo, and Dinesh Bajwani. The CEO of the port, Arturo Vasquez, sits on the board as an ex officio member. The new Minister of Transport, Honorable Dr. Louis Zabanet, is looking to push a new public-private partnership model where public passenger buses are concerned. While the bus owners are not yet entirely convinced, many commuters are expressing their hopes that the initiative could prove successful. Belizean artist Katie Numi Usher has been commuting for years and shared her thoughts on the proposal.
Well, there's always hope when you have a new minister, a new CEO, as far as policy. So I'm hoping that policy improves. As you said, I've had many issues with buses for several years because I don't have private transportation. But I've seen it get progressively worse over the years. So my hope is that because we have this new opportunity with the new minister and the new CEO, is that we could have these stakeholders in public transportation in Belize, because I don't think it's fair to put the entire onus on the bus owners. I think that there needs to be a lot of subsidies from outside. I think we need better roads. We need better terminals. So a lot of the infrastructure isn't there. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hoping.
There was a scare yesterday on the Philip Golson Highway where passengers fled from a Ladyville bus they said was catching fire. In the end, it was revealed the bus had a mechanical issue, but there was no fire. Still, Usher said she doesn't feel safe traveling on some of the current passenger buses on the highways.
So, I mean, one of the days I never gone, I put on the news, I see the bus flip over, almost drop into the Halover Creek, the Belize River. Then another time, just yesterday, it looks like one was threatening to light a fire. I spoke to Mr. Bernardo Bennett, and he was saying that the bus wasn't on fire. So there's that. One said it wasn't, one said it was. But yeah, there is fear, there is concern. If I don't have to go, then I don't, because to be honest with you, 100% I really feel safe on the buses.
A 22-year-old British student reported to police that she was raped early Tuesday morning in Keycocker, Belize District. According to the student, she was out with friends and the group was socializing and drinking at Las Vibras nightclub. Around 2 a.m., she says she returned to her hostel, Tropical Oasis. She then told police that she was in her bed sleeping when an unknown male entered her room and raped her. That same day, a medical officer certified that she was carnally known. Unfortunately, police were not able to identify any surveillance cameras in the area, and field interviews provided no pertinent information. Police investigations continue. A 22-year-old woman is claiming that on Saturday, June 7, the man she calls her now former common-law husband physically assaulted her while they were at a function in Hope Creek Village. She says she reported the matter to police the following day, but believes he has not been detained as yet because he is a justice of the peace.
But when I end the phone and I give back Emil his phone, he gone crazy for me. He started yelling, he be like, "You're a whore. I know you've been cheating on me." And then he said, "I want to kill this tonight." And he proceeded to slap me up. He punched me really hard in the face. And at this point, the safe female take her intervene. And when she take her intervene, she like, relax, and she's yelling. And that's when he grabbed a Buchanan's bottle of whiskey that he was drinking, and he walked past her and he began hitting me in the head with it. And at this point, like, I'm crouched down, like, on the floor, and I'm trying to protect my head, but like, he still managed to swing me. And that's when I felt pressure, and I felt something cold running down my body. And when I realized that it was a lot of blood. And so I ran out of the place, and I was dripping in blood. And I went to the station the day after, and I made my report. And this was Sunday. And I had told them that I just want my stuff, because like many of my stuff stayed at his house, like my passport, my bank cards and stuff like that. So I was constantly going to check up like when they would detain him. And he's been in town from Monday. He's walking around town, he's circling, he even went to the police station because he's a senior justice of the peace. And so he has to sign documents, but he hasn't been held yet. So at this point, like, I'm just really scared and I'm worried because, for one, I'm scared of my life because this man's still out there and he threatened to kill me right then and there. And so he have it out for me and he still hasn't been arrested yet.
We have confirmed with the police department that the report was filed, and they told us the accused was expected to be charged today. After the break, Yasser Musa launches 2 books and art exhibit, and Orange Walk Animal Lover produces all-natural pet canned food alternatives. Stay tuned.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards you'll actually want: extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because it's smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Earn B-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
In 2024, the Belizean diaspora took over Los Angeles with the first ever Belize Diaspora Summit, and you know the only thing that could be ever better than that is to do it again. Belize Diaspora Summit 2.0. This time it takes place in the state of Florida, Fort Lauderdale Forward Convention Center, July 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Belizeans from the diaspora, Belizeans from home in Belize, join together. Let's do it again. 3 days, government services, clinics, business displays, kitty corner, pop-up trivias, panel discussions. There will be highlights for business mixers. There will be live performance. Vasindio, Destiny Wagner is going to be there. There's going to be a live performance of Makobi. And you will have Immigration and Civil Rights Town Hall, special guest Kenneth Gibson, interview and book reading. There will be a wind-up reception, rhythms and rum. It's happening, Police Dashboard 2.0, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Power Convention Center. Don't miss it.
Famed Belizean artist and author Yasser Musa today launched 2 books and an art exhibit at the Imagination Factory in Belize City. The first book, titled Imagine Stories, is a collection of his past Facebook posts which cover various topics. The second book, titled Yasser Musa Works, is an art book, while the art exhibit features his paintings and other artwork. Musa spoke more on each of these.
Well, today I made a public presentation of 2 new books. One called Imagine Stories that features 17 years worth of Facebook writings that I've posted since 2008 until now. The writings involve topics ranging from technology to politics to art to culture to education. So that was launched today as a QR code so that anybody can download it for free. But we also presented a physical 1 copy of a art book called Yasser Musa Works, which is a 400-page book, which is also at the same QR code available for free for people to look at. So it's a kind of a duality, half 1 book on text, 1 book on images. And in addition to that, I made an art installation of works involving found objects, things that inspire me. For example, the ash from the Baptist church fire. You might think that is very morbid, but for me, the Baptist church is a special landmark. It's where people after the emancipation in 1838 went to celebrate in a spiritual context. So that is one of many different objects, in addition to many paintings and drawings that I did using the iPad.
Musa also spoke on the feedback he has received and all the praises for his decades of work. He also revealed how he chose which would make the books.
Well, I really was touched by the speakers that spoke on my behalf today. Sean Tega is a remarkable poet. He obviously prepared a magnificent speech, and he delivered it in such a dramatic and forceful and touching way for me. Katie Usher, she's an artist that I've followed from the beginning of her work. I find her to be one of the most outstanding Belizean artists, not just from a national standpoint, but from a regional standpoint. She's a regional force. She's been featured in many regional publications. And her words were really inspiring to me. And then, of course, Delmer, the historian from the university, I believe he teaches there now, he gave a very deep and profound insight about how he believes that a lot of my work touches on a decolonial alternative in terms of the way we think. So all 3 gave a very different perspective, and that to me was very uplifting and inspiring. There are 102 posts that are in the book. That made it to the book, and I had to choose from over 500. And what I tried to do was first categorize the different areas. For example, I write a lot about people, my own family members, people who have inspired me, artists, musicians, DJs, historians. And so I kind of categorized, putting some of that, putting some on technology, putting some on education, putting some on politics, putting some on art, to try and create a balance, to give a buffet so that people could see what has been going through my mind for 17 years.
Many youth in Belize, unfortunately, are directly and or indirectly exposed to traumatic experiences and events, most of which center on violence for those in urban areas. Sports have long been one of the more popular means of processing such trauma and as an avenue to escape repeating behavioral patterns. However, today, famed artist Yasser Musa explained that art can also be another means by which traumatic experiences can be transformed into something positive and inspirational.
I think if we observe the world, we see many things, right? And if we pay attention and reflect, that's an important part of observation, to see it at the beginning, but to allow your mind to process it, and then maybe weeks down the road to allow your mind and your feelings to wrap itself around what you experience. Sometimes it might be negative, but I think if you give it time, you can figure out a way to shape the idea that you experienced. And that process of shaping the idea is what I believe makes art, which comes from the imagination. We build worlds, right? The human being, by nature, we like to build worlds, and the worlds come from our imagination. So, for example, writing it down is a big step, because right now I'm talking to you, but I'm talking in a random way, right? Because I don't know what you're going to ask me, so I have to make it up. But if I had time, I could probably write down and give you a much better answer as to your deep question, because your question is very profound. Well, I think that the mind is trying to figure out how to deal with the fast speed and the fragmented nature of the technological bombardment. But I still think that our mind is far more powerful than any device. So, as I said, we have to allow for reflection. We have to allow for boredom. We really have to get impressed and inspired by boredom. And I am talking to myself as well, right? Impressed and inspired by not doing something, as opposed to, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to be constantly engaged in something and having the mind race. The racing mind is trying to mimic and mirror what technology is imposing on us. But our deeper mind allows, when it is given time to reflect, it allows for more calm, more powerful thinking, in my view.
Alyssa Castellanos of Orange Walk Town has begun a small business which caters to our furry family members. Castellanos has done her research and has produced an all-natural, no-preservative pâté, which is a savory spread that can be made from meat, vegetables, and spices as a cheaper and healthier alternative to store-bought wet pet canned food. Her product is suitable for cats and dogs, as well as kittens and puppies. Castellanos shared how this initiative was born out of receiving love from a cat when she needed it at the most.
I had never been a cat person per se before. I've always been a dog lover, but I've always loved any animals except roaches. I don't do well with roaches, but I love animals, and I met this cat and I had a physical reaction to this cat. Like, I loved this cat and I felt it in my heart. It's a weird, I can't explain it, but I fell in love with this little animal and I felt like she and I bonded. Through COVID, she saw me through COVID, and this little cat stood with me, stayed by my side. I want to tear up now because unfortunately, Pootie passed away yesterday. When I got her, she was in such a bad condition. She had infestation of worms, the parasites, and the cat food in San Pedro was very hard to come by, and she had stomach issues. And so I started experimenting. I started reading and researching, asking vets that I know, vet techs, people that have the know-how and the degrees that I don't, but I have a very resilient and resourceful mind. And so I researched, I asked as many questions as I could, and I came up with my very own pâté for my cat. I know that cats struggle with hydration. I also have had dogs. I had an exotic bully that I was caring for almost a year. And so I had to find a balance of how can I make my own pâté? Because if you're buying a Friskies can, or if you're buying one of the other major brands, you're paying about between the least $2.25 on the market, $2.25 Belize, and the most about $4 to $6.
Castellanos said that typical canned foods serve for 2 meals on average, while her product would last for much longer and provide better nutrition.
So I decided I live below the poverty line. I've got to be resourceful, but not because I live below the poverty line. I don't want to feed my animals the best that I can. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to be healthy. We're all going to be healthy. And I learned that I could use my scraps, my veggie scraps. I could use half of my veggies for my cats and my dog. And that's how I started, just kind of feeding them this pate and trying to get to the consistency of canned food pate, but with natural ingredients. I then moved to Orange Walk, and it was easier for me to get a hold of local eggs. So I use local egg from local chickens. The egg yolks, mostly I will use. Sometimes I'll use the entire egg. It depends on what flavor I'm making, what consistency I'm looking for. But peas, carrots, pumpkins, pumpkin seed is great for cats. It helps you with to discourage parasites from wanting to live inside your animal's gut system. Had my other cats that did not have intestinal problems, digestive issues, were enjoying the pate. They really enjoyed it's and I noticed that what I spent, so 6 cans of pate, I make a container. Every time I make a container that's about a yogurt size, the Lala yogurt. It's the big container. And I realized that their coats were shinier. They enjoyed it more. I can dehydrate it and make it into snacks. I can freeze some of it and also make it into a quick snack, and I can bake some of it to make treats for them.
Apart from the pate, Castellanos also produces broth to mix with chow, as well as a line of dog food. She shared more information on initial pricing.
I like to call my small business eco-friendly because at the moment I am not buying containers. So when you make an order from me locally here in Orange Walk, I will ask, okay, save, it depends how big your order is, save your containers and bring those to me, and I will give you, and I'm also not a stingy business owner. I will give you the recipe because my business is for people who want to provide this nutritious meal for their animals without having to make it, because it is time, it is effort to make it. Usually I'm in the kitchen for about 3-4 hours when I'm gonna make a batch of cat food, and the flavors that I'm working with right now are chicken, for which I use chicken breasts, and the chicken hearts with gizzards, and also I forget the word in English, liver. I was going to say hígado. And this really enriches them. And I've learned about the vegetables that are good to add protein. Broccoli is amazing for cats and for dogs. It has it's just like the human body, if the human body benefits from nutritious eating. And that would be the most basic pate that I have, which would be the chicken hearts, so chicken breasts, and pumpkin, broccoli, carrots, and sweet potato. I'm selling that for between $12 and $15. It holds in your fridge for up to a month. So if you put it in the freezer, you have that for up to a month. And if you're holding it in your fridge, it holds for about 2 weeks. And it's compressed enough that you can add more water to it.
If you would like to place an order, she can be found on Facebook as Alyssa Castellanos or be contacted via WhatsApp at 628-8822. And in her free time, Alyssa Castellanos volunteers with the Orange Walk Humane Society and sponsors the food she feeds to kittens she fosters. She explained how her formula helps the young ones develop and stay healthy.
Kittens, I have I do a lot of neonates foster for the Orange Walk Humane Society. Shout out to them. They're really amazing. If you're in Orange Walk, or even if you're not and you have a little extra, send it over to the Orange Walk Humane Society. They're doing amazing work trying to decrease the number of strays here in Orange Walk, and I would like to see them succeed in this mission. And so if you have any little extra, you think about wanting to make a donation to a charity that makes a difference, please make a donation to the Orange Walk Humane Society. So I foster for them, and I started noticing, oh, my poor Humane Society, it's a strain to be buying canned food all the time. So then I started to make it for all my fosters, and I started a specific pate that's for kittens that are not older than 1 year of age, where I make it with a high concentration of chicken hearts. Chicken hearts have what we call taurine, and that's a very important nutrient for kittens so that they can develop. It helps their kidneys develop well, their organs, and it helps their coat, their development throughout that process. And so I started making that pate, particularly for the neonates that I had been fostering.
If you would like to assist the Orange Walk Humane Society with donations in cash or in kind, they can be contacted via their Facebook page. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. To repeat, can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.